Hey guys, it's PM Mathis, your local independent author. And I hope you had a blessed beginning of the week. We are hitting Tuesday, which we're almost at hump day. Everybody loves hump day because you're right in the middle. Had a little scare, that's why, I'm saying I'm home a little early. My husband calls and just makes me think that my boo-boos is just, I'm saying, in real distress. So I had to run home and check on him. But my boo boos, is getting over some flea situations, and I think that he's just getting a little sick from the medicine. And my husband is, all thrown off. But anyway, so I had to come home and check on him, which he's doing well. You want to know. Thank you for asking. But today, I'm continuing on with my series. And what do I always say? I want to always encourage you to study the Bible, study the word for yourself. We live in a society where we want somebody else to give us a quick, fast answer to just about everything. But life is truly not that way. The best thing that you could ever do for yourself is to comprehend and to research. That way, nobody can just tell you anything, because you will have a solid foundation that says, you know what? I took the time to research this thing out. I understand, I comprehend. Now, some things you still may not get, and you may have to ask somebody to give you a little bit more clarification, but that's fine. But just always know, I've always been told that you won't know everything, but the thing that would be, that would help you and is in your best interest is to know where to go to find the information. So I hope that I'm always a resource for people to look things up, to scout things out, because I don't ever want you to just take my word. And like I said, when I go over these Bible verses, which we're working through the book of Mark, and I'll be working with chapter 10. I always want you to understand that this is my commentary. This is just what I pulled out of it. And really, this is just me giving a spin on what I read in the book of Mark. Because I'm studying for a Bible Bowl, which I have been falling behind because, I wasn't sure if we were still going to do it. I hadn't heard anything, but just had an update, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks ago, and the young lady who's over it asked me, was I still studying? So I'm assuming that we're going full force, so I've got to pick back up. So, but always, always, always be willing to search any and everything out for yourself. Don't let somebody pull the wool over your eyes, because then you can't get mad at somebody, to say, well, hey, they took advantage of me. We all have a mind. Some of us are more intelligent than others. Some of us comprehend just a little bit better than others, and maybe a little bit faster. I'm not one that, it takes me a minute to get things, but once I get it, I've got it. So I'm very deliberate. I take a lot of notes. I go back to the notes. I look over, what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to get accomplished. I try to set goals. I'm trying to use my calendar now because, working my Young Living business, it's very important for me to keep up with things. I don't just assume that I've got them planted in my head, because for Pam, that doesn't work. I might forget something. So I'm always grateful as I continue on my journey, that I know that sometimes the mind don't work as quick as it needs to, and sometimes I do forget things, but I try my best to always keep my commitments. So I'm not gonna belabor any longer. I always like to give you a little bit of an update, but like I said, I'm working on Mark chapter 10. And this is, Are You Getting Head? And this one is called, Do You Know What to Ask? And in this chapter, in Mark 10, it talks about divorce. It talks about the married person leaving father and mother and becoming joined with their spouse. It also really brings in this beautiful point, because I always tell people I have my little childlike faith. Because I believe if my Father can't do it, then it just can't get done. We can't enter into the kingdom of God without having that childlike faith. And then what brought up the do you know what questions to ask is, we have the example of the young rich ruler who wanted to know what he would have to do to enter the kingdom of God. And so that's explained in this chapter as well. And we always want to make sure that if at all possible, we're asking the right questions, because sometimes we just piddle through and life just kind of overtakes us. And then we look back and we have regrets and we're like, why did that turn out any better than that? So always be able to ask the right questions. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in. This is, are you getting ahead? Do you know what to ask? Everything you ask for is not for you. Remember that. Everything you ask for is not for you. And since God knows best, you will get what He wants to provide for you. Never compromise your integrity, stalking what someone else has. Nothing that belongs to others should come up as an envy for you. No one would expect you to desire what belongs to another, yet that is what so many of us do. Longing for a decision to work out in your favor when the outcome belongs to someone else who prayed with a willing heart, you have to let go. You can't covet what belongs to somebody else and expect that to be given to you, because God has a plan for each one of us. And what He has for me, He may not have for you. And what He's working on with you, He may not be working on with me right now. Not saying that it won't come around, that we won't have to deal with that. But right here at this moment, He just may not be working on me. And maybe He may never, work on that with me, because maybe that's not one of my issues. So you have to be wise when you try to compare and look at what somebody else is getting or not getting, or what you're getting or not getting compared to somebody else, because we can't live our lives that way. God knows what you seek would overwhelm your fragile being. Let's read verse 47, which says, when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. We should always be asking God to have mercy on us. Because literally, some of the thought processes we have, some of the actions that we have, if God didn't show us mercy, we would be in real trouble. So we always should seek God's mercy, because the human side of us just wants what we want when we want it. Not that it's good or right for us, and not that it don't belong to somebody else and we trying to get what they have. We just want what we want when we want it, and we can't always have it. It is okay to stop and reevaluate your requests that came out of a selfish heart. You will not always get what you request, which is a good thing in so many ways. Now, those things for you will be for you, without a doubt. But knowing how to pray is essential to the outcome of one being born out of your childlike faith. Please remember that key, your childlike faith. And that childlike faith has served you, and it has served me in the past. And verse 15 says, anyone who will not receive the kingdom of God like a little child will not enter. God clearly says that you have to have that childlike faith. That is the way into His kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Every father loves to know he has the heart of his child. And that's who God is, and that's what He wants for you. So it's very important that we understand who God is, that He loves us, that He cares for us, that He let His Son die on that cross for us. What greater love is there? Hey guys, I want you to remember, this is PM Mathis, your local independent author. And guys, I always want you to be blessed. You know that. And remember, this has been a Pew Partner presentation. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. I'll talk to you later. Be blessed. Thanks. Bye.